Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to the Minecraft Survival Guide. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today's episode is going to start off a little different. We're actually going to cut away and I'm going to do a bit of mining off camera. But I thought I would bring you guys in first because we have an important decision to make. Now, I've been gathering a few more levels off camera. I've been fighting some more blazes and I have a whole bunch of blaze rods now. I even encountered a magma cube while I was there, killed it to get 2 magma cream and was able to make myself some more potions of fire resistance, so we could go back and kill those blazes at the blaze spawner as much as we want to get a few more levels. Experience is starting to become less of an issue. The problem now is acquiring more resources. Now, as you can see, we don't really have a lot in here. We don't have much iron, we don't have any diamonds at all, and my pickaxe here is less than half durability, which means if we mine another 700 blocks, it's going to break. And 700 blocks is not a lot in the grand scheme of things in Minecraft. It is not a lot. If you consider that I've already mined, a bunch more than that with this pickaxe already, and that's just clearing out a little bit of netherrack in between the blaze spawners. There are going to be a lot of blocks to mine if we go mining, and I do want to make sure that I can either repair or replace this with more diamonds. Now, in order to repair it, I would need an anvil, which is what we need more iron for, and I would like to get as many diamonds as we possibly can. Now, I went into the enchantment table and was looking around to see what other enchantments I could get. I didn't like the look of any enchantments I had, so I ended up just using a level 1 enchantment on a tool that I didn't really care much about, this iron shovel, and that would cycle through the enchantments so that next time I put some items back into the enchantment table, it would give me something completely different. And what I ended up with was Fortune 2. Now, I don't have any more diamonds on me right now, so I can't enchant a diamond pickaxe with Fortune 2, and once you've enchanted something in an enchantment table, you can't re-enchant it in the enchantment table, so this efficiency 4 pickaxe cannot have anything else put on it here at the enchantment table. We have to combine it with another enchanted diamond pickaxe using an anvil. You also can't, by the way, you can't combine 2 items of different materials, so I couldn't combine this diamond pickaxe with this iron pickaxe in order to get more enchantments. That's not how it works. It has to be 2 of the same item. So if I wanted to get more diamonds, if I potentially found more diamonds while I was out there mining, I could apply Fortune 2 to an iron pickaxe, and that would allow us to get a few more diamonds per ore block. Now let's see, maybe we should just make a brand new fresh iron pickaxe, because this one doesn't have much durability left. It's only got 71, and I want to be able to use that as much as possible. So let's make a brand new iron pickaxe here, and obviously it's only going to be an iron pickaxe, so it might not last as long as a diamond one, but having this in the short term will allow us to get more diamonds in the long term. So I think that's probably a good idea. Let's see what we get. Just Fortune 2. Okay, so not too terrible then. Let's see if we could get some other enchantments on that. We could get efficiency 4 if we wanted to, but again, we are back down below the threshold of 30 levels, so we won't be able to get any more. Okay, well, I'm going to take my diamond pickaxe, my spare iron pickaxe, and this Fortune 2 pickaxe mining, and we're going to see if we can acquire a few more diamonds. So I'm going to cut away to do that because it's just going to be the kind of branch mining stuff you've seen in previous episodes. We don't need to worry about doing this on camera. I'll be back with you guys once I've gathered a few more resources. Alright, I have made my way through a little bit of strip mining session, or branch mining, or whatever you want to call it, I guess. The diamond pickaxe is on 209 durability, so we're getting real low right here, but I have found the holy grail of diamond hunting. We have ourselves a 2x2x2 cube of diamonds. This is an 8 vein, as it's called, and I'm going to use the Fortune 2 pickaxe to claim all of this. I've already gathered a couple of other diamond veins from inside this little mining project, and right now, I think we're going to get ourselves, let's say, maybe 14 diamonds out of this 8 vein. Normally, the typical rule of thumb with the Fortune enchantment is that the Fortune 1 enchantment gets you either 1 or 2 diamonds, the Fortune 2 enchantment gets you 1, 2, or 3 diamonds, and Fortune 3 can get you up to 4 diamonds, but it's not necessarily going to work out in your favor 100% of the time. It's entirely possible that you could mine 8 blocks of diamond ore, and as the fates spin it, would only give you like 8 diamonds, or maybe 9, or something like that. You could just as easily get 1 diamond, or you could get 4. However, we're only working with Fortune 2 here, so I'm thinking we're probably going to get... We're getting between 1 and 3 diamonds for each block. I think we're not going to quite double the amount of diamonds here. I'm guessing 14. So let's give this a try. I'm going to throw out a couple of things in my inventory just so I have room for all of this. Let's give it a go. Didn't even get 14, got 10. Okay, well that is still not bad. That is still 10 diamonds more than I had, and it's 2 diamonds more than I would have got just by fortuning that regularly. So not terrible, folks. All right, I think I have done enough here. I also found an abandoned mineshaft chest which had a golden apple in and some melon seeds, and I don't think we even have melons yet, so that's a pretty good score. We have some diamonds back at the house. I think we can probably make our way home now with the stuff that we've got. We've definitely got enough iron here that we can use to make an anvil, so I think it's probably time to call it a day and get on with the rest of the episode. We're back at the house and we got ourselves a pretty tidy collection of resources. 24 diamonds total, a bunch of gold, redstone and lapis lazuli, and we also have a bunch of iron down here smelting in the furnace, which I'm not going to take out yet because we'll get a ton of experience from that, and chances are we might be able to tip ourselves over the edge to another enchantment. So what I'm going to do is grab a little bit of, I might as well grab the lapis out of here. Let's get that, let's get the tools which we left in here, and let's see what we're going to get enchantment-wise. Efficiency 4 sounds like a good start, so I reckon we'll add that to our axe. Just efficiency 4 again. Looks like we're getting bad luck with multiple enchants, but not to worry. We can get efficiency 4 on the shovel as well, which is going to be worth having, I suppose. Let's get some iron out of here. Not quite enough to take us all the way up to level 30, but the rest of this, there we go, takes us over the edge. Fantastic stuff. So let's hop back in here. Let's get the shovel into the enchanting table. And just efficiency 4 again. Wow! The rest of the iron, though, should be enough to make ourselves an anvil. What we want is 3 blocks of iron, like so, and it is possible to make blocks of the other precious resources as well. You can make blocks of diamond if you want to. It's a handy way of saving space if you've got a whole bunch of diamonds, but the blocks of iron specifically can be used to make an anvil in this formation with the big, heavy part on top and then a stand underneath made out of iron like so. It's going to be in the recipe book as usual. So we want to grab one of these, and all we need to do is drop that somewhere around here. You know what? We may as well have it in the place where our extra bookshelf could have gone. So the anvil interface looks like this, and it's something you can use to repair your tools if their durability gets low. Like in the example of this diamond pickaxe here, if we put that in this little slot here and we add diamonds to it, it will cost you a level each time, and it says enchantment cost, but this is actually the repair cost. It'd be an enchantment cost if we had something else in there that would enchant it, like an extra enchanted book or a diamond pickaxe with different enchantments. But this will actually allow us to repair the item here with the materials put here, and then that gives you a bunch of durability back. This is not the best way of repairing our diamond pickaxe, however, because you'll notice that we're giving 3 diamonds here, which is enough to make a new diamond pickaxe. It's not enough to fully repair the tool we already have, so we may as well just make a brand new diamond pickaxe and see what we can get on that. Let's drop one of those in there. Let's make one of them. Oh, put all of my diamonds in the crafting table, why don't you? And then let's see what enchantments we get on this now. Unbreaking 3. Fantastic. So I need to go and gather myself another 3 levels. I'm on 27 right now. We need level 30 to get that. But once we get Unbreaking 3, even if we don't get an efficiency enchantment on that, all we need to do is combine the Unbreaking 3 with the efficiency 4 we already have, and then that pickaxe will last a whole lot longer. So that's definitely worth having. Okay, few blazes later, we should have enough levels to do the thing. Now let's put this in here. Let's grab some lapis and moment of truth. Let's see what we get. Just Unbreaking 3. Well, at least that gives me a decent example to show you guys how to combine stuff in an anvil. I didn't take my other diamond pickaxe to the nether because I figured, what if I lose it, right? But now we will be able to combine these two. Now, depending on which combination you combine these two things in, there might end up being a higher cost one way than there is the other way. For example, Unbreaking 3 is a slightly more expensive enchantment to use than Efficiency 4. So generally speaking, if you put it second in the anvil, it will actually be a higher cost than if you add Efficiency 4 to it, and it will only cost you 4. This is a hazy kind of science is involved in this, but you can actually combine the two, and you'll notice that the durability of this one is all filled up. You can also, if you want to, change the name of the diamond pickaxe, so you could just call it Diamond, for example. You can type basically whatever you want in here, and it will come out however you like. But in this case, we're probably just going to leave it called Diamond Pickaxe, Unbreaking, and Efficiency. That's going to be a perfect pickaxe. That's going to last probably about 3 times as long as it would have if it was just an efficiency 4 pickaxe. So we've got this nice workhorse pickaxe that we're now going to use for the foreseeable future. And if we want to repair it again, all we need to do is drop another diamond pickaxe in here next to it, and it should be able to repair pretty easily. It is also worth noting that subsequent repairs will actually cost you more, so you might end up spending quite a few levels on this if you want to keep repairing the same one. So occasionally it is worth trying another enchant on a fresh diamond pickaxe and seeing what you get, not least because there are other enchantments, things like Fortune 3, for example, or Silk Touch, which might be really useful to have on a pickaxe. So I feel like Fortune 3 is going to be a pretty good shout, and considering we have 21 diamonds to our name right now, we could always make some more diamond pickaxes and try our luck. Looks like we're sitting on Fortune 3 for a diamond pickaxe as well. I'm not going to do that right now, not least because I don't have enough levels for it, but also it's not really a priority. We've got enough diamonds for the moment. However, it's important that I make that my next enchant if I want the Fortune 3. Otherwise, if I enchant something else and try and come back with that pickaxe, the enchantment table will throw up a new, fresh set of enchantments, and I might not get Fortune 3 anymore, so worth keeping track of that. But now we've got ourselves a decent set of enchanted tools. I've got myself an Unbreaking and Efficiency pickaxe. I think I'm going to return to the caves below the house, the kind of initial cave that we started out in there, and I'm probably going to do a fair amount of mining, so I'm going to grab some more wood to make torches and head on down there. So one of the things I want to do a little bit more of in this series is building. If this is the first series of mine that you've encountered, if you haven't seen any of the other series on my channel, I kind of like the aspect of building in Minecraft. I'm a big fan of creating new things and kind of shaping a town or whatever it is I want to build here that kind of tells a bit of a story. Kind of shaping my own story in Minecraft is one of the things that I love a lot about this game. So I'm going to do a little bit of material gathering, resource gathering in the caves down there, and I will let you guys know if there's anything interesting down there. I will bring the video back in if we happen to come across anything cool, but for the most part, I think we're probably just going to be down there collecting resources, maybe a little bit more coal and iron and that kind of thing, just taking it easy and gathering some stuff for future builds, because we want to build, if we're going to turn this into a kind of medieval town type of thing, we probably want to build a few more structures around here, maybe a barn for all of these animals that have been cooped up in this pen for so long. We probably want to build something to make the sugarcane farm look a little bit more like an actual building and a little bit less like, I don't know, this weird collection of machinery in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of different stuff we can do with this area, so we might even end up building a castle over there on the kind of hillside. That would be a fantastic thing to do as a project for this series. And if there's anything in particular you'd like to see me build in this series, do let me know down in the comments, because it would be fantastic to build a couple of things that viewers had requested, or the stuff that you think maybe fits this area pretty well. I've got plenty of ideas of my own, but would love this to be a series that has a little bit more input from the audience. So if you guys have anything you want to see here, let me know and maybe we can make it happen. I don't believe this, guys. This is actually Spider Central. I found 2 spider spawners in this area. Wow. Doesn't look like we're going to get any other spawners in this cave system, but no, we've got this one, and we've got the one we found for episode, I think, 5. We've got ourselves a golden apple in the chest here, a few extra pieces of loot, a couple of music discs, fun times. Okay, not too bad, and a little bit of iron for our trouble as well. So now we have some spruce saplings. I kind of want to highlight one of the amazing things you can do with spruce, but before we get started with this, I do want to warn you that it's going to generate a lot of blocks that will replace grass. So if you want to do this, it's probably best to do this a little bit further out. I'm going to head up on top of the hill here and show you what's up. So spruce saplings can actually be placed in a 2x2 formation to generate a tree that has 4 blocks for the trunk instead of just the standard 1, like the oak trees you'll find around here. And it is still possible to place a spruce sapling completely separately from this little 2x2 cluster, but all we need to do is grab some bone meal, make sure the area around here is fairly clear, because sometimes saplings don't like to grow if there is stuff nearby, like grass and that kind of thing. Let's chuck a little bit of bone meal onto this, and bam! We get ourselves a massive spruce tree, which will probably yield upwards of a stack, maybe even 2 stacks of wood. However, as you can see, it's replaced all of the grass and dirt blocks around here with this weird substance. This is called podzol, and it does naturally generate in the world in mega taiga biomes where you will find trees of this size occurring naturally, but it does replace any grass or dirt blocks in kind of a 3x3 area, and maybe a little bit further afield as well. There's occasional blocks will just kind of pop up here and there, and it does that fairly naturally, so it's not too much of a bad thing. But obviously, if you're keen on keeping the area around you a kind of green and pleasant land, and you want to avoid stuff like this happening and all of the blocks being replaced all of a sudden like this, then you probably want to make sure you're doing this in a fairly isolated area. But by simply turning this tree itself into a kind of staircase, kind of holding down shift so you don't fall off the side of it and jumping upwards like so, you can core this thing pretty effectively. You can basically cut the entirety of the trunk out until you reach the top of it, keeping staircase up like so and always cutting 2 blocks in front of you, and then you can just corkscrew your way down until you've collected the entirety of the tree. We're almost at the top here, but we're definitely getting an awful lot of wood out of this. Like, I already have 40 blocks of wood, we're not even at the top, and I've taken down maybe half of the trees so far, so it's pretty great. This is a great way of gathering a whole bunch of wood, and unfortunately other trees like oak, birch, and acacia won't actually do this. The dark oak trees require a 2x2 set of saplings in order to grow one, and jungle trees can also be grown in these large variants as well, but I always tend to go for spruce. The main reason being, spruce trees generate with a fair amount of leaves, and you usually get all of the saplings back because the leaf drops are actually pretty generous. And also, spruce wood is one of my favorite types of wood in the game. I just think it looks fantastic. It's a very robust looking log. It's a very nice looking set of planks when you turn it into planks. Generally speaking, it's a decent tree. So we're going to put a few different spruce saplings up here. I think we'll probably farm a little bit of spruce wood up here. But look at that. Nearly, like, it's over a stack and a half of spruce logs in an instant. It's pretty fast. So that's probably a good idea if you want to acquire a whole bunch of wood in a hurry. Alright, I think my big project for today is going to be making a proper barn for all these animals, because they've just been milling around in the pen for too long, and I want to get them into a nice secure location where we can also separate them out so that when I want to breed my cows, I'm not accidentally right-clicking on sheep with the wheat and breeding sheep when I don't want to. That seems like a good plan to me. I've managed to gather a bunch of spruce and oak wood. We might gather a little bit more as we continue with the project, but I think this is going to be a good start. One of the things I might do first before we continue with the barn building project is level out the land just a little bit over here. Normally I don't like to do this too much because it's sometimes a fun challenge to work with the natural landscape around a build, but the barn is probably going to be built on flat ground, and we've got both a pond here, which is not the ideal thing to build a barn over, and also this little ridge behind us. So what we can do is kind of push and pull the land a little bit by removing some of the dirt from this ridge here and then using it to fill in the pond so we end up with a nice flat plain. As you can see, the fact that I have an efficiency 4 shovel is just tearing up the dirt, which is actually really nice. It's nice to not have to worry about breaking dirt 1 block at a time and making it kind of a tedious process. With an efficiency 4 shovel, you can tear through dirt, sand, gravel, that kind of stuff very, very easily. So all we're going to do is fill in the dirt here in a fairly simple way. We're just going to fill the entire thing up from the bottom, and you'll notice that the water doesn't kind of flow over or anything like that, because water physics don't work like that in Minecraft. Instead, we're basically erasing all of the water blocks inside of here. And don't worry, because as you know, we can already make an infinite water source somewhere else. So if we want some more water closer to home, we can simply make a water source basically anywhere. We could even make one inside the barn so it looks like the animals have somewhere to drink from, even though they don't technically need that as part of their behavior in the game. We have a visitor from the nether, folks. Zombie pigmen will occasionally come through a nether portal, or rather they will spawn in a nether portal, because the nether isn't actually loaded on the other side unless you're on a multiplayer server where there are other players. So sometimes the nether portals will simply spawn an occasional zombie pigman, and these you can dispatch pretty easily. All you need to do is give them a couple of taps with your sharpness sword, and they're quite easy to take down. And that will not anger the nether zombie pigmen. They won't be angry at you when you go through to the other side. If there are any other zombie pigmen that you just haven't happened to kill when they come through the portal, then they might get angry as well. But as long as you don't have more than 1 or 2 of them around, you shouldn't have too much trouble with them. Anyway, quick aside whilst we're leveling out the terrain here, we've got pretty much everything leveled out, and we have a little bit of extra dirt that we can use to patch a few things up here and there. Now, I thought it'd actually be quite a fun idea to use some of the podzol generated by spruce trees as a kind of flooring inside the barn, almost to make it look like the cows are generating a little bit of muck in there. We don't necessarily want to use that as the grounds for the sheep pen, though, simply because to regenerate their wool, sheep need to be able to eat grass, and I don't believe they can eat podzol. It's a grass variant, but it doesn't count as actual grass as far as the sheep are concerned. Now, if we had a silk touch shovel, we would actually be able to move the podzol from one place to another, but the thing about podzol, much like grass, is that if you dig it up with a shovel that doesn't have silk touch, or if you just dig it up by hand or using another tool, it will just drop as dirt. You won't actually get to move the podzol block around until you have the silk touch enchantment. So what we're going to do is what we did up there on the plateau over there. We're just going to grow a large spruce tree here, a 2x2 spruce tree, and let it populate this area with podzol, and then just dig around it until we've got the area we want to use as our cow pen. There we go, didn't even need bone meal for that one. I went and got the bone meal anyway, but it grew in the meantime, it grew nice and tall. We can take this down and use the wood to build the barn, and then we'll have a nice little bit of muck spread around here that the cows can call home. You'll also notice that over time the grass will actually spread to these dirt blocks and convert them into grass blocks, so you can do that with grass pretty easily. Podzol, on the other hand, will not do that. Podzol does not spread. It won't be consumed by the grass in the same way that the dirt is, so there you saw a block of dirt being converted back to grass. So podzol and grass will not fight each other for territory or anything, but you will find that the podzol does not spread to dirt blocks in the same way grass does. Podzol is basically inert. It just stays in one state the whole time. Now I'm going to run into the house really quick to get some sleep because night is falling, but then we're going to build a barn. We're going to put together a quick pallet for the build. We're going to decide what blocks we want to use, and then I'm just going to go ahead and build the whole thing. All right, let's make a new crafting table. Always kind of helps to make a new crafting table in some of these builds, so it saves you running back and forth from your existing ones. We'll pop that down here, and let's take a look at what we've got. So naturally we have spruce logs, which we can turn into spruce planks. We've got oak planks as well, and if we turn a couple of these into sticks, of course you can see we have the option of spruce and oak fences. I think oak might work a little bit better for the fences. It might be a little bit lighter, and plus we've already got a bunch of oak fences in here that we can repurpose for the interior of the barn. We're working with podzol, dirt, and grass. Maybe we'll put a bit of coarse dirt in here as well, but it might be also nice to put down some spruce planks as a floor, so it kind of mixes in with the podzol like this occasionally here and there to make it look like the floor is a little bit more organized, and maybe a bit of smooth stone would work well there also. Let's maybe put together a quick sort of build palette over here in this corner where things are going to be a little bit more out of the way. So we'll put together a spruce log, we'll put spruce planks on top of that like so. And this is a technique builders often use just to kind of get an idea for the materials they want to use, and you can swap out blocks here and there just to see what exactly you're working with and what materials would look good where. This is also something you can experiment with logs. There are actually stripped variants of the logs which you can get by right-clicking on them with an axe. I don't believe I've covered this before in the survival guide, so worth taking a look at. And these will actually look quite nice in the floor as well, if you come to think of it, because if it's got the bark texture like that side by side, it kind of looks a little bit more mucky. The spruce logs actually have this kind of green, almost like stain to them, so that might be a pretty good block to use as a floor material as well. Maybe we can work a little bit of that in next to the podzol here. Now oak has a stripped variant as well, as all the logs do, so we can maybe use a bit of that, and I really like this block, so that might be good for the interior pillars of the barn, so it can look like the place is being held up a certain way. Of course, we also have the option of making spruce and oak stairs and slabs and so forth. There are ladders and trapdoors we can use, and spruce trapdoors are actually fantastic because they have a really nice texture on the side of them. They're quite similar to the spruce regular doors that you can make, so maybe we'll include some of those in the build. They jut out like a few pixels from the edge of a block, so they don't look like a full block or even a slab. They've actually just got a nice mid-range depth to them, which can really pop out of a build and give it some character. Of course, we also have things like cobblestone walls, fence gates, and andesite and gravel that we can use here as well. So that's not a bad selection of materials. I think they all look pretty good together. Let's go ahead and start on our build. Here we go then. I've done a quick bit of sketching out for this build. It's got some nice tall spruce pillars on the corners, some of those stripped oak on the inside, and this is the kind of walkway down which you, the farmer, are going to come down and inspect your animals. Now, this side over here is probably going to be the sheep because there's lots of grass over there. We've cleared out a little bit more of the kind of countryside here, and we're just going to let that return to its kind of original grassy state. Over here, of course, we've got the podzol, and I have let the grass creep in on this side because I wanted to add a little bit of grass path, like so. That is done by right-clicking on the grass blocks with a shovel, the same way you would right-click on logs with an axe to get stripped logs, and that actually turns it into this slightly shallower grass path block, which the more you add to an area, the more it kind of lightens up, like so. You can see the kind of, the sort of golden section in the middle lightens up a little bit, and the rest of it can stay quite dark, which is actually really nice for kind of mucky, muddy areas that are well-trodden and well-worn, which in this case they would be because we're going to be moving some cows in here, and they're just going to be milling around in the same space the whole time. Now, there are a couple of spots here where I had originally put this andesite, but I think the andesite almost looks like too much compared to all of the other blocks around it. So what I've done is I've gone into the house here, I've opened up one of the furnaces, and I've put in some cobblestone, because cobblestone, if you cook it, turns back into regular stone, the kind of stone that you see around you in the environment. And it can no longer be used to make stone tools that way, because you can only make those out of cobblestone. However, it is possible to make a few other things with smooth stone. Some redstone components require it as a crafting ingredient, but it also allows you to build with a much more natural stone texture, and I think that's actually really good for making pathways inside of builds like this. So let's pop that in there, and yeah, I think that's not too bad. That isn't terrible. I think we'll go with that for now. Now, the animal pens here I have sketched out just using some cobblestone walls, some fence gates, and some fences. Normally the walls and the fences won't connect to each other, but the fence gates are kind of the common component there. They're the ones that you can actually use to connect the two of them, and it looks a little bit weird next to the fence here because when you connect a fence gate between two fences, it puts it at a different height to the cobblestone walls, but ultimately that gives your fences a nice sort of rounded look that I think will be quite good in the long run. I'm going to make a couple more pens like this, and then we're just going to build the walls of the barn out of some wood planks. It does get very close to the house over here, but that's not too bad of a thing. Having the houses, the house and the barn kind of next to each other makes them nice and cozy, and ultimately this could just be the farmhouse. It could be the place where the farmer lives and then steps out of his front door every day to take care of his cattle in the story of this world. That's kind of the way we're going here. So let me replace the rest of this andesite with some smooth stone. Yeah, I definitely think that looks better. Maybe if we add a little bit more to the entrance here as well, then that's going to make it look like there's a nice kind of path leading up to this from the house. We're just going to sort of gently landscape the area around here. Not go too crazy with it at first, but it's going to be nice to have something that looks like a path from the house to here. Now for the walls, we can have a nice mixture of spruce and oak planks like so, and this kind of gives it the impression of a little bit of age, like the planks have been through a bit, they've weathered and they've lost a little bit of their original shine here and there, but there are still some elements which feel a little bit kind of a little bit new, and some bits maybe that have been patched up, that kind of thing. It might also make a bit more sense to leave a couple of gaps here and there for windows after a fashion. I think what we will end up doing is putting one there and one there, and then we'll put fences in here instead of actual glass windows, because you might not end up using glass on a barn, whereas those kind of fences are going to provide a lot of ventilation. If you've got a bunch of fairly smelly animals in here, then that's probably a good idea to have. So let's maybe put a couple more of these oak planks over the top here, like so, just to kind of even out the texture of the build, like that. Just use the materials kind of equivalent. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I think that's a pattern we can quite easily copy to the other walls as well. And I think this is now at the stage where we can start bringing some of the animals in. So the important thing about having animals in any kind of fenced off area like this is that you don't leave any blocks inside here that they can climb up on and then make their way over the fences. You've got to have it surrounded by walls, fences, and fence gates. Make sure there's nothing that you can climb up over. But aside from that, you can be pretty diverse and creative with the kind of stuff you want to put in here. Like, for example, I put in a few hay bales and things like that, done a lot of variety in the floor, even started growing a little bit of wheat around here as though there's some seeds that have just kind of been kicked down into the soil inside of here and have started to grow up here and there. And that's always useful to have a supply of wheat around just in case you need to grab an extra wheat to feed your animals if you had like an odd number of wheat to feed them in the first place or something like that. So I'm going to try my best, grab a little bit of wheat and try and separate out the animals where we can here and there. Now it looks like we probably need to go and grab some more from the wheat plantation over here. We're going to grab these and just reseed those. Not going to take too long over here. Fine. So we got 5 or 6 wheat from this little section over here. That's 5. That's not bad. We can use this to lure some of the animals in, and it's going to be a bit difficult to separate the cows and the sheep at first, but we can probably just herd them all into one pen, separate them out as we can. Maybe even if we've got some spare slime anywhere, craft some leads that we can lead the animals to and from the pens. But for now, I'm just going to grab the wheat, open this up, and see how many we can get in place. Right now, they're completely ignoring me, but nope, looks like they're on their way. So let's move everything into here for now. Open up some of these fences. Yeah, they're climbing on the hay bales just to get over the wall in the first place. But this is going to be the sheep pen, remember? So we need to make sure the sheep stay in here and that the cows, if they can go elsewhere. Let's push a couple of these guys through, like so. They tend to bunch up a little bit around the gates, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, they'll get in there eventually. Maybe we'll try and push this guy over there. Let's try and close this off to make sure they don't pathfind out of here. There we go. In fact, if they've got that hay bale they can walk over, then maybe we can just do it this way. Yeah, that's actually working pretty well. Not a bad idea. Looks like a bunch of sheep are coming in here. Fantastic stuff. All right, and then we'll try and lure some of the cows over into the left-hand pen over this way in the same way. So if they can get over on those hay bales, then so much the better. Otherwise, we'll just open up the gates here like so. Come on through. There we go. We've got a couple of sheep coming in here, but that's just fine. We can start breeding up our new cow population inside of here, maybe kill off any stray sheep, and that shouldn't be too bad. Obviously, it's pretty important to make sure this area stays lit up as well. You can even place the torches on the ends of the cobblestone walls or fences if you like, but as long as we've got a couple of torches in here, we aren't going to see any hostile mobs and stuff spawning in here when it's dark or when we've put the roof on it finally. The rest of these are going to be milling around outside for a little bit. That's okay. One of them wants to come to my house, apparently. Wants to hang out with the chickens. All right, let's quickly get some sleep. I moved the bed up to the second layer of the house here, by the way, because this gives us an even further chance to be far enough away from hostile monsters that we can sleep the night when we need to. On that downstairs level, it was occasionally stopping me from sleeping because the monsters were too close. They were just like a couple of blocks away on the other side of the wall, whereas moving it to an upstairs floor usually means that as long as there aren't any spiders climbing on the wall or endermen teleporting to the roof, you'll probably be able to get a decent night's sleep. All right, cows, come to me, this way. There we go, we're getting a decent herd on the go now. Let's make sure that these don't end up escaping the pen. Fantastic. And we just got to run back and forth a little bit in here to make sure that they all end up in the barn. Wonderful stuff. That's a decent start to our herd, and there's plenty of room in here for us to expand the cow population without them getting too cramped in. Plus, it looks like a very kind of cow-friendly environment, doesn't it? I think this is going to work out just fine. Any more sheep want to come into the pen on the right-hand side? That would be fantastic. We can invite you guys in through this way as long as everybody else stays out of the way. We do have a decent cow population over here already, so yeah, looks like we might end up killing those to get a little bit more leather, maybe a little bit more experience and food as well. And you might notice this doesn't have a roof yet, and we're probably going to leave it without a roof for the end of this episode. I will come in off camera and finish that off. But the main thing is we have a brand new and much nicer looking cow and sheep pen that we can organize a little bit more readily. And the roof always takes me the longest out of anything, so I'm probably just going to do a kind of barrel-shaped roof. I'll get that done off camera between now and the next episode, and then we will get on with something else next time. But that's going to be it for this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now.